Hello. First, I'd like to thank you for your time. My name is Goss Lindsay. I'm with GENEX Services. I've been here for 4 years. Additionally, I'm part of the Association of Insurance Professionals, which is a San Diego-based educational workers' compensation organization. We meet bi-monthly. I've been involved in this for 5 years and the president for 2. I started writing a newsletter to talk about some information I wanted to share regarding employers in California and cost savings, specifically in the workers' compensation market, revolving around managed care. And as I continued writing, I realized that this was a little bit more than a newsletter, and I wanted a different way to express it and try to share some of the ideas and things that people across the state are doing that could possibly help you save money. So the information added up, and I decided to try something different and put it on this video. And today's topic is, what are 5 things that an employer can do to save money in workers' compensation? So the key point is really around cost savings. And I'm not going to rank the 5 topics as far as what's more or less. I'm just going to go through 5. I know there's more than that. These are all things that customers I know are already doing to achieve savings. This is the type of thing that brokers would charge people for. This is information that I feel should be public and should be more readily available, especially to the employers who are not always shared everything about what their programs involved and how to best run and manage them financially. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. So my hope is, after this 8 minutes or so of talking, you learn something and possibly are comfortable sharing this information with somebody else who might be interested in this. My basic belief in even doing this is that there is a need out there. There's information that people don't have that they should have. And this is how I'm going to get it out there. Who manages the most effective programs? It's self-insured administrators, time and time again, because it is their money directly tied to what their claims handlers are doing. And so when I look at these programs, much of what I'm taking are from, and I'm not going to name names during this, but from this type of program. One of my favorite sayings is, if it don't make dollars, it can't make sense. So let's roll with it. Go ahead and get your notepads out if you'd like to take some notes. At the end of this, I'm going to put up my personal information. If you'd like to contact me or anybody in GENEX, we're more than happy to help you to consult with some of these ideas at no charge. This is what we do. We are nationwide, and I'm in Southern California. As I mentioned, we're throughout California. So as an overview, before I get into the 5 key areas of cost savings, there's a key statement that could be said is a belief, but I don't. I believe this is a fact. Employers must take back some key decisions that their insurance carriers are making for them to achieve cost savings, maximum cost savings. So basically, the more programs that employers are not directly involved in, the less savings you're going to see. So the 5 areas that I'm going to talk about are actually 5 programs that I think employers should understand and should look into and start comparing costs. This isn't meant to pick apart third-party administrators or insurances that are managing claims. Their core investment is claims professionals, and what they do well is the complex process of managing claims. We've seen a big transition over the last few years as the market has become more and more saturated with companies providing claims services for employers. On top of that, claims are down. There's less claims, so there's more competition to get what is out there, and there's more of a need as these prices are dropping. As claims administrators are lowering their costs, they're looking for other ways to make money. And where they're turning to is managed care. Some common ones that they're looking at now are bill review, on-site telephonic nursing, utilization review, and those are a few of many programs you've probably seen more and more TPAs taking under their wing. This is the new profit margin for what they're doing. Is it a bad thing? No, it's a money thing. It's about 1% more or 2% more. And the whole point of this is for employers to look at where that 1% is going and can it be recaptured. Because some of these programs are run fine. They're run and you're getting your money, they're run fairly and they're run well. Other times they're not. The basic tenet that I have is employers innately trust their carrier to do these services for them. They're being sold them up front as part of the whole package deal, which is of course a great deal, and they're not being looked around to see what else is possible. And there's two types of control that these carriers have established on the employer level regarding these services. The first type of control is really too much. It's when, as a carrier, there's profitability for me in these programs. Now I'm skewed. I'm like a doctor doing physical therapy. It's my physical therapy clinic. It's been proven statistically you're more likely to go to physical therapy if you go to my clinic. Your job as an employer, or really as a carrier, is to separate these two. Because now it's an independent assessment. They're being sent to physical therapy based purely on need. When it comes to money and it comes to a carrier profiting by self-referring, by doing their own services, the point of this is for me is to say, be wary and look into it. There's another type of control that is too much control I'd like to mention before I move on, and that the first one was direct ownership, obviously directly owning a program. The second is revenue sharing. It's basically bringing in a company to do a service and taking a 10% kickback. Neither one of these are inherently bad. The point is they need to be looked at. The other type of control is too little control, and this is equally as important, because when the carrier is not financially directly impacted by the program, it's often run at the adjuster level. And adjusters are now making decisions on how your program goes depending on what they perceive or what they want. As an employer, what are you receiving? Varied billing, different costs for the same service from different companies. Oftentimes there's no fee schedule, so this is something you have to pay, yet your adjusters are using who they want. Varied service protocols. If you want something done, like a certain risk manager at your employer contacted on a type of surgery, it's much more difficult to get this spread out across the board to the different companies, whereas working with one or two and setting up the program yourself, you're far more likely to achieve the type consistent protocols that you want to see. In addition, over or under utilization of services, and that means basically adjusters will use, some will use investigation more, some will use nursing more, some will use it less. The important part for the employer is to understand that they need to drive this program. There needs to be some kind of protocol or guidelines to help these adjusters manage it the way that you want this program run. So in taking the decisions back, we're going to go through the 5 things. First thing I'd like to talk about is bill review, which is of course the elephant in the room. This is going to be a fast presentation with some hard-hitting things. It's not going to be a ton of detail, but this is a program I bring up first because everybody has it. Everybody has to have it. And what do employers know about it? When you see your cost savings report, you see that you save 50% off what you were billed, and that's great. As far as you're concerned, 50% is a huge difference. What they don't know, what the employers don't know, is to save 10% more in bill review is a tremendous amount of cost for a company to uphold. In employees, in fee schedule software and updating this daily, in PPO relationships and contracts and receiving discounts through larger PPO networks. So again, I get back to, let's look at what a company does well. What claims offices do well is manage claims. A bill review company that is set up, that has done bill review for years, is going to save more money. And again, we're talking in terms of percent, 1%, 8%. At what point is it worth looking at a 4% savings? Well, let's look at some basic numbers, and I'll take out a pen because it helps me say this is a common scenario.